Welcome back to Strength and Health for Life, where we prevent you from injuring yourself. Hello! Welcome to day 106 of our wellness journey together. Before we begin, we ask that you smash that like button down below, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell to receive all alerts, and watch the video all the way through. Also, if there are any topics you'd like to see in this channel, please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. By the way, if your job is monotonous and soul-crushing like most people's jobs are, and you're looking for a way that you can earn money from home and no longer have to be dependent on somebody else for your income, then take action now and click the first link in the description to learn how. It's time to take matters into your own hands. Today, I thought we would do a video that would help prevent injury as you move forward with your exercising, as most of you should be upping your weight that you use at this point. There are many different injuries that come from doing sports and weightlifting, but we're going to go over 10 of the most common ones and how to prevent them. But the first tip that I'll give you that always helps prevent injury is to make sure you stretch every muscle that you work out before you do any lifting. Now, of course, I can't guarantee that just stretching will prevent all injuries, but it definitely helps reduce the chances. And you should be doing it to every muscle anyway. So, moving forward, here are the 10 most common injuries that you'll see around the weightlifting world. Number 1, a disc herniation. As with most of the injuries that you'll see on this list, this one is usually caused by improper posture when doing exercises. This one in particular happens a lot when lifting things off of the ground. Without using proper posture, you place unneeded strain on your back muscles and spine, and this can absolutely lead to a disc herniation. The most common symptoms of this are localized back pain and numbness and tingling that can shoot down through the leg to the feet. The best way to prevent this is to always use proper posture when doing any exercise, particularly when lifting something heavy off the ground. The best way to determine proper posture is to stand with your back against a wall. In your lower back, there should be a slight curvature. This is your neutral spine location. That is the posture that you should be using for every single exercise. But what about every single exercise? But no! Number 2, IT band syndrome. This is an injury that you'll typically find in people that do a lot of cardio, because at some point you are going to want to raise your stamina, and the only way to do that is to do cardio. The IT band is a thick fibrous ligament that runs down the outside of your knee, and lo and behold, an injury to this particular ligament will cause pain from your hips down to your knee. Shocker! The best way to prevent this type of injury is to ensure that your knees are lined up with your toes. And another thing that helps is to make sure that your hips remain neutral, meaning they aren't leading to one side or the other. Another way to prevent it and minimize any pain that you may already have if you've already received an injury is to do exercises that strengthen your glutes. That's your butt muscles. What that'll do is it'll remove stress from your IT band and thereby stabilizing both your hips and your knees. Number 3, Achilles tendonitis. Achilles tendonitis is another one of those injuries that's common for runners, but it can also occur when you're doing things like leg presses or squats. This is an injury to the tendon that connects your calf to your ankle, or more specifically, the top of your heel. It's important that if you receive this injury that you rest it, because if you don't give it sufficient time to heal, you could absolutely cause a tear in your tendon. And once your Achilles tendons tear, you're not walking for a while. Your calf rolls up like a Tootsie Roll. Ew, gross. The best way to prevent this serious injury is to stretch your ankles and your feet every single day, particularly before you go for a jog or you do any squatting exercises. Number 4, a slap tear. Now, SLAP stands for superior, labrum anterior, and posterior. This is a shoulder injury. Many people have heard of the rotator cuff injuries that you can have, but this one is not discussed as much, but it is something that can definitely happen, particularly when you're lifting weights. This can occur by either acute trauma or by repetitive motions done above the head, especially like weightlifting and doing shoulder presses. Some of the symptoms of this particular injury are that you can't lift your arms completely overhead without pain, that you feel that one or both of your shoulders are weak, or you experience popping or catching as you move your arm upward. If you experience any of those three symptoms, it's best to visit your general practitioner or an orthopedic surgeon to determine the diagnosis. Most injuries of this type will heal on their own, but sometimes if the injury is bad enough, it'll require rehab or surgery. The best way to prevent this injury is to absolutely warm up the muscles near your shoulder blades and shoulders before you do any of those exercises. And when you do exercise them, only do a range of motion that doesn't cause you pain. And regardless of what upper body exercise you do, focus on keeping your shoulders relaxed and down and away from your ears. Number 5, tennis elbow. This particular injury is common with those that play tennis, but it can definitely be caused by over gripping your weights. The two most common symptoms is pain around your elbow and pain when you straighten out your arm and pull your palms towards yourself. This is a tendon issue, so as a tendon issue, it may take a while to heal completely. The best thing to do if you feel this is to rest and relax the muscles first of all. And you can alleviate some of the pain by massaging it and stretching it daily to increase blood flow. The best way to prevent this is to start your exercises with heavy gripping exercises. And it'll also help to incorporate push-ups into your workout, as that'll help you maintain wrist flexibility. And it may also help prevent carpal tunnel syndrome. Number 6, hamstring pulls and tears. This is one of those injuries that you'll know without a doubt happens. It'll happen quick, it'll be sharp and extremely painful. And you'll know exactly which muscle was torn because that's where the pain will be. Like someone trying to murder the back of your thighs. Unfortunately, when this type of injury happens, it can take years to completely heal. And even when they do heal, re-tears are very common. So it's definitely best that you prevent this one from happening in the first place. The best way to prevent this type of injury is to do a light version of your exercises at first to get the blood flowing. You'll also want to maintain flexibility of the hamstrings by stretching them every single day. You'll also want to make sure you do deadlifts in order to strengthen your hamstrings, as well as any exercises you can do to strengthen your glutes, as they heavily support the hamstrings when you're doing exercises. Number 7, patellar tendonitis. The primary symptom of this particular injury is pain in the patellar tendon, which is located right below your knee. Also, this injury is usually caused when you squat improperly. When squatting, your knee should be right on track with the second toe on your feet. And that goes for squats and lunges and any other exercise in which you are bending your knee and gaining strength in your lower body. Another way to prevent this type of injury and to reduce pain in an injury that's already occurred is to strengthen your glute muscles. This will relieve pressure on your tendon as the glutes will take over some of the load. If you do happen to get this injury, it's best to relax your knee and rest it as much as possible until the inflammation goes away. Otherwise, you could tear it and it would cause severe injury. And that you don't want. Number 8, rotator cuff tear. This particular shoulder injury is more common in people that are over 40 years of age, but it can still be caused in people that are younger just by overuse or using too much weight. This particular one involves a different tendon than you'll see in a slap tear, but the symptoms are very similar. And is yet another reason why it's best to have it diagnosed by an orthopedic surgeon or some other medical professional. Most of the time, this particular injury will heal itself as well, but it does tend to be a little worse, so surgery is a little more prominent when it comes to this type of injury than it is with a slap tear. But if you don't push too hard and injure it further, you should be able to do self-care and have it heal on its own. The best way to prevent this is the same way as to prevent a slap tear. You're going to want to stretch your muscles as much as possible every single day, especially before you do your workouts. And you're going to want to make sure that you don't do exercises past the range of motion that causes pain. And I don't mean the kind of pain from muscle exhaustion. What I mean is pain or catching in your arm. At this point, you should be able to tell the difference. Number 9, bicep tendinopathy. This particular injury can accompany shoulder injury or be isolated all in itself. The tendons that connect your bicep to your bodily structure tend to age over time, but extra strenuous activity can do the same thing. As an example, when strong men do the tire flip with improper form, they can literally tear this tendon and cause their bicep to shrivel up in their arm. But before this happens, there will be a pain in the front of the shoulder. So if you stop right at that moment, you may be able to prevent an actual tear and thereby the need for surgery. The primary symptom for this is pain in the front of the shoulder that increases when doing overhead exercises. And it's usually accompanied by a snapping sound or feeling when you lift your arm. That snapping sound or sensation will occur in the shoulder, not in the bicep itself. So keep an eye out for this one. Again, the best way to prevent this type of injury is to make sure you stretch all of your muscles before you work out, and make sure you've established proper blood flow before you start pushing the weights up. And to prevent a tear, if you begin to feel the pain that is accompanied with this particular type of injury, make sure you stop immediately and rest the muscle. This will prevent severe injury and possibly the need for surgery. Number 10, shoulder impingement. This injury occurs when your rotator cuff is pinched between your shoulder blade and the ball portion of the ball and socket joint of your shoulder. This will cause your rotator cuff tendon to rub against the bone above your rotator cuff. As you can imagine, this will cause additional wear and tear on that ligament due to constant rubbing. The major symptom of this is pain on the top of your shoulder, whether you're doing activity or at rest. And in general, it'll also be painful to the touch. And you should also see an increase in the pain as you progress with your shoulder movements. Now, the best ways to prevent this injury is, of course, stretching all of your muscles, but also to balance your exercises. If you do a shoulder press, do some pull-ups. Always work the opposite muscles to keep it balanced in the area. The objective is to make sure muscles on both sides of the bones pull equally. And another good way to prevent this is to not do too much too early in your workouts. Make sure you progress gradually and don't try to progress too quickly. Allow your body the time to repair and get used to certain weights before you increase them further. As you can see, there are a lot of injuries that you can have when you're doing any kind of weightlifting or any kind of exercise really. So it's best to make sure you stretch and be cautious of how you approach your exercises. You want to make sure you don't try to do too much too soon. Otherwise, you could cause serious injury and end up needing surgery. And surgery is not cheap at all. Of course, with all kinds of success, whether it's weightlifting or financial or losing weight or even relationships, it's best to have someone to talk to and keep you motivated and accountable and just to be there for you for emotional support. So if you're looking for a weight loss community to help keep you motivated and accountable, or you're just looking for someone to be there with you along your weight loss journey, please follow us on Facebook and join our Facebook group. Those links are at the bottom of the description. With all that said, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next video.